Deepak Anand, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So it's an interesting day, certainly on the Canadian front. We had a provincial election here in Ontario. We'll have a new premier. C-45 passed the Senate yesterday. By the way, my sort of Twitter feed filled up. It was almost about 10 minutes apart that we found out both results. So tell me, what do you think the implications are on the Ontario front with a new premier?
Yeah, I know it's very interesting. I know that Doug Ford basically has come out and said that he supports privatization of cannabis stores. I think that the OCS is certainly was scheduled to have a whole bunch of challenges going into this with just 40 stores at the outset. I hope to see that they will probably increase that number. It'd be great to see participation on the private-public side. We're certainly working with provinces like Alberta and Manitoba and Saskatchewan that have seen a lot of success in that model, and I hope that Ontario follows that footsteps. Early indications that we're getting seem to imply that, and seem to imply that they're going to open up potentially private retail in Ontario, which I think is much needed.
So I am an American, so excuse me for that, but also it was my first view of sort of seeing the Senate in action on the federal level. Talk about what it means when C-45 gets amended by the Senate and then it goes back to the House of Commons. Talk about what that means and what you think is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, talking of America, it's interesting to see what Trump did this morning on the marijuana announcement, so that's great. As far as C-45, I think we'll see a very quick rollout in terms of this bill getting royal assent. I think there is conversations currently happening between the House and the Senate. There's certainly a number of motions that were put forward by the Senate where I think the House is probably not okay with some amendments, and there'll probably be a little bit of back and forth. By and large, I expect this bill to get royal assent very, very quickly. I think we will see the bill and the act in force, albeit delayed. We're certainly looking at a September timeline for legalization, but I think that you'll start to see a lot of movement on the political side from the Minister of Health, etc., very quickly coming up here. I would say probably in the next couple of weeks before we see royal assent.
And then tell me about the timeline. If it's the next few weeks before royal assent, what happens then?
So we know there's going to be a delayed launch of legalization, so there's going to be the rollout of the regulations and the whole regulatory landscape and process. I've had the fortune of working with Health Canada quite closely on the stakeholder consultation in terms of the regulations and what they're planning to roll out, and I expect that there will be a lot of focus on the regulations and really that coming out, because I think that has a lot of implications, not just on the existing industry but also the future industry, whether it be on the retail side or whether that be newer licensed producers. It's great to see that Health Canada is now going the California model, which is a number of different licenses for a number of different purposes, which is something the industry has needed for a very long time. I think there's going to be a lot of focus on that. I think from a government perspective, you're going to see a lot of focus on them just reinforcing that the act doesn't go into effect until whenever it is, whether it be September or October, but we have passed it. So I think there'll be a lot of media campaigns towards saying, hey, it's not legal yet, but it is getting legal. I think that's what you'll start to see in terms of messaging coming out from the federal government.
What's your best guess on the day we'll be able to go online and buy from the OCS?
Oh, wow. I know the OCS has said they're not ready for that. I would probably say January if I was to guess. I think it's going to take some time. I think a lot of these LDBs, liquor store distribution sort of mechanisms have come very quickly to terms that this is going to be something that they're going to have to grapple with, and it's not as easy as maybe they thought coming into this from the outset. But they will get it nonetheless, and I'm pretty confident that I think all the provinces are ready for legalization.
Deepak Anand, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.